This season, North Dakota State has flexed its muscle, showing the rest of the nation the rugged physical ground game and stifling defense hasn't gone anywhere. After an open week, the Bison are back to work to finish up one final non-conference tilt against Robert Morris before starting the long and challenging road in league play. It's coming up next.
Get your horns out! Tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down. The boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold their horns up high because it's Bison time.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back inside the FARGODOME for Bison football here on the KVOY KFYR Bison Network. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Brian, Sean, and Lee Timmerman back with you as NDSU wraps up non-conference play against Robert Morris here today. The Colonials coming in very young up front, 4 starters on the offensive line that are true freshmen, an obvious experience advantage for the Bison.
And the one who's not a true freshman is a redshirt freshman, so the Bison defensive line should really be licking their chops. And when they get pressure on the quarterback, expect the second and third levels of that defense to have a really good day too.
And the Bison offense coming off a performance 2 weeks ago at Eastern Washington where they pretty much ran the Eagles off their red turf in Cheney. And maybe a chance for Easton Stick to put the ball in the air a little bit more today, going up against a 3-4 defensive scheme for the Colonials.
I think the coaches want Stick to try to be efficient early and then get that running game pounding. And look for a zone blocking scheme today, not so much with the guards pulling out in front, just man on man, being a little bit more physical and letting Lance Dunn and company pick the spots on where they want to go running the ball, which should be pretty solid today.
And I think for NDSU, you talk about efficiency, playing a clean game, LT, that's an importance for the coaching staff with Valley play opening 1 week from today.
Yes, you do not want mistakes heading into the conference play, which is, again, starts next week.
North Dakota State has won the toss. They have deferred, and Robert Morris will have the ball first here this afternoon. We do have some updates on the injury front. Ty Brooks is in street clothes. The third-string running back for North Dakota State, the sophomore from Fargo South, he will not play today. Robbie Grimsley may be limited today due to injury. He's a game-time decision. And for Robert Morris, one of those offensive linemen, number 61, Trevor Hicks, will not play today because of an injury. And Jimmy Walker, number 5, the starting quarterback for Robert Morris, the transfer from San Diego State, also got banged up against VMI last week. He may not even play today or get a very few snaps, which means we may see Matthew Barr, who started in 2015 but did not play at all last year.
And is listed as a wide receiver, so Walker's presence moved Barr to a different position, and Barr could be starting when we get the when the Colonials come out after this kickoff. But there's a look at Walker, big kid, 6'2", 220. Behind that rookie offensive line, even though it's a 2-1 start for the Colonials, he's been beat up a little bit.
So Cam Peterson will get us started here today as both teams take the field as we get set for kickoff here at Gate City Bank Field at the FARGODOME, the final non-conference game of this 2017 schedule before Missouri State comes in next Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock on homecoming for the Valley opener. Get set with a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff to get things started today. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Peterson puts the toe to it. taken by Harrison Dreyer back at his own 5. Dreyer has a lane up the middle. That lane closes quickly. Levi Jordheim in on the tackle at the 28, and that's where Robert Morris will start this particular drive. Let's take a look at the NDSU starting defense, brought to you by Shields.
Bismarck, North Dakota. Levi Jordan, Dickinson, North Dakota. Dan Marlette, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Chris Board, Orlando, Florida. Jalen Ambush, St. Petersburg, Florida.
Robbie Grimsley, Hutchinson, Minnesota.
Trey Dempsey, Lakeland, Florida.
Jalen Allison, Papillion, Nebraska.
The Colonials come out, switching some things up, trying to go in a silent count here. Handoff inside to Dreyer, nowhere, stacked up. Jordheim was there along with Tuska. Derek Tuska coming in, no gain on 1st and 10. Let's take a look at that Robert Morris starting lineup, also brought to you by Shields. As we mentioned, Walker may not see a lot of reps today. The only senior in the starting lineup is Reggie Green, the tight end, a transfer from Pitt. And you see Cole Blake listed as a starting running back. We're going to see a lot more Harrison Dreyer today. Dreyer, just a redshirt freshman out of Clarendon, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's a local kid. In fact, he's a kid they think they kind of stole in terms of the recruiting process. No one really went after him. He's a solid young running back.
Dreyer again, met right at the line of scrimmage. The Bison getting all sorts of penetration. And the linebacker that time was Dan Marlette coming in to make the tackle. Marlette, the junior out of Sioux Falls, Washington High School, made the start two Saturdays ago at Eastern Washington, played very well.
If your defensive line, like in that particular play, can keep your linebackers that clean, it is going to be next to impossible for the Colonials to run the ball with any efficiency today. You must get to the second level, but in order to do that, you have to handle the guys with their hands on the turf.
4 receivers with 3 to the high side for Robert Morris here on 3rd and 11. Quick drop. The quarterback not on the same page with Taven Allison, the intended target, and Robert Morris goes 3 and out.
Wherever Taven Allison goes today, number 21, Jalen Allison, will go with him. That's a matchup the Bison like. Allison, Taven, that is the top deep threat for the Colonials, and we all know that Jalen's the best man-up cover guy as a corner that NDSU has.
So coming on for the punt will be Adam Check. A 2017 preseason Northeastern Conference team selection has started since his freshman year as the punter. Sends this one back towards Darius Shepard, who will call for the fair catch back at his own 30-yard line, and that's where North Dakota State will start its opening drive.
We saw the physicalness of NDSU's defensive line on that opening drive, and we'll see early on how physical the Bison offensive line can be.
There's a look at Easton Stick, the junior quarterback. He's your North Dakota Beef Commission quarterback comparison. Easton's numbers very good. 72% of his passes completed. He's also run for 2 touchdowns. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns. 13 of 20 2 weeks ago at Eastern Washington.
The quarterback's coach, Randy Hedberg, said that the last 2 weeks Stick has really passed in the practice situations with very confident approach. So they like the progress he's made the last 2 weeks.
Stick, play action. Looking, now taking a shot deep for Urzendowski. Incomplete. Ball slightly underthrown. In on the coverage that time was Trayvon Stotts. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State offense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields.
Easton Stick, Omaha, Nebraska.
Colin Connor, Linden, Wisconsin.
Bryce Messner, Mackville, North Dakota.
Tanner Volson, Belfour, North Dakota.
Austin Kunert, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Connor Wentz, Denellen, Florida.
Garrett Malmstrom, Fergus, Minnesota.
Lance Dunn, Waterloo, Iowa.
RJ Urzendowski, Omaha, Nebraska.
Darius Shepard, Blue Springs, Missouri.
So the Bison back to work. Quick drop and complete. And that's out to the big tight end. The Bison have a bunch of them, but this one completed to Nate Jensen, who's coming off a career performance at Eastern Washington 2 weeks ago. 5 catches, 75 yards to set up a 3rd and short here for NDSU. Let's take a look at that Shield starting lineup for the Robert Morris defense. A bit more experience The man in the middle there is Amir Fenwick at nose tackle, but maybe the most disruptive force is Gerald Ferguson, the reigning Northeastern Conference Defensive Player of the Week. Couple of sacks, couple tackles for loss in a win against VMI last Saturday. Dunn bounces outside, nobody home for Robert Morris. Lance Dunn is gone, 61 yards, touchdown.
That's the 17th play already this early in the season of 20-plus yards for this Bison offense. The longest run play from scrimmage, Lance Dunn. He had a 73-yard touchdown run, and this one untouched. A little zone blocking. We talked about that in the pregame show, and just a bounce outside. No corner, no safety. They bid inside. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Touchdown, Lance Dunn.
Already the 6th rushing touchdown of the season for Lance Dunn. Peterson adds the extra point, and North Dakota State, in just 3 plays, has taken the lead 7-0 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Welcome back to the Fargodome. North Dakota State quickly grabs the lead on a 61-yard touchdown run by Lance Dunn, and the Bison lead at 7-0 here with 12:26 to go in the first quarter. Peterson back for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Harrison Dreher back deep once again for the Colonials. Dreher's going to have a tough time tracking this one down as he takes it on a hop at the 7. Dreher quickly up the sidelines, forced out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Jabril Cox was the first one there, special teams-wise, out in Cheney, Washington against Eastern. He had a great day in the special teams regard. And the one thing that Jabril Cox, he's so athletic that he can get down under speed, engage, but then also keep his hands free and then play off and make that play. That's exactly what he did on that play.
Again, the quarterback situation a little bit dicey. We've seen a different quarterback in there with Wildcat. Warren Robinson did this a lot last year when Robert Morris was decimated by injuries, ran it out of the Wildcat. We see it here on the second drive for RMU. Handoff to Dreher, nowhere. Grant Morgan got in there, and a host of Bison joined him, loss of 2.
Well, you take the pass away from an offense, and that squeezes things even more for that interior defensive line. I mean, I don't know how Robert Morris is going to be able to run the ball today without the threat of a pass. And so far with the 2 quarterbacks we've seen, there isn't much of a passing threat.
And Robert Morris, they do want to run the football, but averaging only 75 yards a game on the ground, which is just 106th in the FCS.
Looks like back to Barr now.
Barr, another quick drop, fires, dangerous pass. Chris Board trying to undercut that throw from Barr. Intended target that time was Robinson. Will bring up 3rd and long.
Well, that goes back to my point that we were making initially about when you get a good run stop, good pressure on a quarterback, and how the backside of the defense can play downfield so much quicker, so much faster, so much harder. Chris Board doesn't have to worry too much about the run because he knows his defensive line will help take care of that. He can jump a route, get out in the flat a little bit quicker than a team that you feel can get the ball downfield through the air. Right now, Robert Morris is not that team.
Robbie Grimsley is out there at safety for North Dakota State. We were not sure how much or if he would play today, but he is out there here on 3rd and long. Marlette really got to the quarterback. He was dropped off to Dreher, but well short of a first down. Bison, good pursuit. Caleb Butler out there to get in on that tackle. And we'll bring up another punting situation.
Left side overloaded on a double blitz from the edge, and Marlette wasn't touched. Of course, you got to take the inside guy, which was where there was a little bit of a chip. Marlette was able to go full steam and put a good whack on the quarterback. Nodak Insurance Company replayed. There you see it. Marlette snaps the quarterback's head back. He tried to get a guy like him in the flat, Dreher, but too many yards to try to gain.
Adam check on for another punt. This one a low liner to Shepard, who takes it on the run at the 40, and then Darius is upended at the 45-yard line. Pretty good coverage that time for Robert Morris. Matthew Holmes got in there to make that tackle for the Colonials. take a moment to send our best wishes out to Darius's father, Lou Shepard, back in Missouri. Continues to undergo some chemo treatments, was diagnosed with cancer back in December. He's undergone a couple of kidney transplants, and just want to send our well wishes out to the entire Shepard family back in Blue Springs. Shepard in motion, gets the carry on the end around and gets a few yards before he's pushed out of bounds after a gain of 4. See, one of those guys getting out there to get in on that tackle is Gerald Ferguson. Had verbal to an FBS school, Ferguson, out of Homestead, Pennsylvania. Ended up here at Robert Morris. Has been a pretty dynamic player on the outside.
I thought in the 2 games that I watched from Robert Morris, defensively, he was one of those guys that really kind of stood out. He's outside linebacker, sometime rush in. The Colonials will do a lot of different things along the line of scrimmage, so the offensive line is going to be put to the test a little bit in that regard.
Bruce Anderson, his first carry, not much room that time. A gain of 1, almost to midfield.
Both Anderson and Dunn coming into this game after the first 2 of the year, their yards per carry numbers are just fantastic. And then Dunn gets 61 yards on his first carry as well. But was it Dunn with over 11 yards a carry and Anderson over 7 yards a carry when this game began?
North Dakota State will have 3 receivers out here on 3rd and about 5.
Oh, I like the tight end to the high side.
Stick under pressure, running out of time, and he is sacked back at the 40-yard line as Robert Morris puts the pressure on, and I think getting there that time was Greg Rose along with others. And Uatafi also coming in on the blitz that time.
He's a senior. That's the experience on this team. 3 of the 4 defensive backs are seniors, some linebackers seniors, and there's one of them, Uatafi right there. And again, right before that play, I said I really like the tight end on the high side, but that was a good job, too, taken by the linebacker. Taking him, I think it was Jensen, and knocking him into the line of scrimmage. Did not get a clean release.
First punt for Jackson Kuntz today, kind of a low wobbler, but it takes a Bison bounce inside the 20, inside the 15, and it rolls to a stop at about the 13-yard line. So may have not looked very pretty, but it got the job done as RMU is backed up once again. We'll take another quick timeout and be back with more from here at the FargoDome coming up. Welcome back to the FargoDome. Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. 3rd possession for Robert Morris. They were at least able to get some positive yardage on that last drive, and now backed up again at their own 13.
A lot of different defensive linemen in there right now. You see McCormick is in there, and Karch is in there. I think Karch might have a big day today.
Dreher again, sidestep, not lost the football, and I think the Bison got on top of it.
Boy, NDSU was the first one there.
And the Bison have it. At the bottom of the pile is the true freshman out of Kimberly, Wisconsin, Logan McCormick.
But we just mentioned him being in there. Nodak Insurance Company, he's the down lineman on the top side. You see him come in. He not only forces the fumble, he recovers the fumble. So that's about as good as it gets for the freshman. Strips the ball, jumps on top of it, and his offense is only 5 yards away from 6 more points.
Robert Morris, just the 3rd turnover for them this season. They were +5 coming in turnover ratio. Stick on the option. Out to Dunn. He is in for the touchdown.
Nodak Insurance Company replay after the pitch. It's Adam Wallet trying to keep Dunn from that corner. A one-on-one battle won by the Bison running back.
They may take a look
at this, but I still think the ball was in there. Well, all scoring plays are looked at again, and this is just one I think they want to look at a little bit closer. But Wallet, we mentioned him, number 33, is the leading tackler for the team.
Yeah, a guy that
sure looked like Dunn got to the edge.
Certainly is. We talked about Wallet, 12 tackles against Youngstown State a couple of weeks ago. There's a look at John Banaszak, and this guy has some sort of pedigree. Was inducted into the U.S. Marine Corps Sports Hall of Fame this past July. Went in the Marine Corps, was a corporal, then went to college at Eastern Michigan, and then went to win 3 Super Bowls on the defensive line with the Pittsburgh Steelers, including starting 2 of those Super Bowls.
Only 45 people in the world are in the Marine Corps Hall of Fame, and you're looking at one of them. And also, and I believe it was Super Bowl 13 where he was the defensive MVP for the Steelers in the Steel Curtain.
Was a longtime assistant here under Joe Walton, who was the head coach here at Robert Morris the first 20 years of the program. The Colonial program first got started in 1994.
Here's the touchdown look again. Just heard the touchdown is confirmed as Dunn is able to reach that ball out. Right there, it's a touchdown. So as long as he has not been knocked out of bounds, the ball in, they wanted another look, and it confirms it. 6 points.
So Peterson will come on for the point after.
So that's 2 carries, 2 touchdowns for Dunn, isn't it?
Efficient. Peterson does add the extra point, and the Bison lead at 14-0 here with 8:33 to go in the first quarter. Gotta feel good for a kid like Logan McCormick, who again really wasn't sure he was going to have his red shirt pulled until just days before the season opener against Mississippi Valley State. Certainly the injury to Greg Menard really is what opened the door for this young man to get on the field this year.
But it was a freshman battle between McCormick and Spencer Wagee to figure out which one of those 2 guys was going to be able to play as a true freshman, and we know that McCormick won that battle.
Take a look at your Bobcats game recap. Just 6 seconds on that drive for North Dakota State. Stick on the pitch out to Lance Dunn for the 5-yard touchdown.
And when you're the road team, you're the underdog, and you know that you can't physically match the team you're playing. Woo, yes. It was a horrible start for the Colonials.
And again, losing Jimmy Walker for this game does hurt. Talking about a guy that set all sorts of passing records in junior college at Cerritos College in California, was a coach's son. His dad was his head coach at Redlands. Now you take him out of the lineup. And if you're not going to be able to run the ball, it's going to be tough on those quarterbacks today for RMU. Dreyer is going to try to track this one down and is able to do so at his own 7. Driven back, still on his feet. And now he's in trouble. Finally, Aaron Mercadell was in there to make the tackle at about the 22.
I think James Hendricks was also another player who was in on that, made him kind of change his direction a little bit back into Mercadell.
There's a look at Barr. And Ryan Gellner on the sidelines for us today has a report. Ryan.
Hey guys, a name you need to know, Jabril Cox, who was the special teams player of the week for NDSU 2 weeks ago. Lee, you've already been talking about him. Go figure on special teams. He's pushed his way up the depth chart. Here he is now on the 3rd defensive series, actually the 4th series for the Bison. Defensive coordinator Matt Ensign. Cox's confidence is growing. He's learning this defense, and they expect the redshirt freshman to make an impact game after game from here on out. It's kind of a trial run for Cox today. If it goes well, Bison fans should know his name. Watch for number 42, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And when we had a chance to talk to the defense coordinator, Matt Entz, he said every 3rd or 4th series we want to get Jabril Cox on the field. because we are going to evaluate him to see if he's capable of doing that down the road.
And it's not a physical evaluation. This young man can run. He's fast enough. He's strong enough. It's a mental evaluation. Are his first reads right? Where are his eyes on a given play? Where do his feet start if his first read is correct? Those types of things.
Barr in trouble, intercepted, picked off by Trey Dempsey. He's going to walk it in for another touchdown.
He was in so fast, but I think it was Marlette again who came off the edge to help the quarterback make a poor play. Yeah, it is. There's Marlette already around. The pass way behind his receiver. Not enough speed in it. And a pick six. Oh, the pressure on the quarterback, no matter who the quarterback is, you put pressure on that guy and good things happen if you're the defense.
The 11th career interception for Trey Dempsey, his first here in 2017. Peterson again adds the extra points, and it is 21-0 North Dakota State midway through the first quarter here in Fargo. Back here at Gate City Bank Field at the FARGODOME, 21-0 North Dakota State. Getting an opportunity to kick off is Garrett Wegner, the redshirt freshman out of Lodi, Wisconsin. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Dreher, I think, looked to see if he was in the end zone and then realized he needed to get going. Does cross the 20 down to the 22-yard line before he's tripped up
by Jabril Cox. He's as fun to watch on the kickoff as I used to love watching Kyle Emanuel run down there on the kickoff team.
You and I were talking a little bit before we went on the air. Do you really want to get in front of Kyle Emanuel running full speed on kickoff? No thanks.
He was so much fun. He weighed 250, 260 at the time. As fast as anyone else out there running on the kickoff team. Yeah, good luck if you're going to get in front of that guy.
Kyle, of course, continues his career professionally with the, well, I was going to say San Diego Chargers.
Good catch, though.
Los Angeles Chargers. Delayed handoff, this time to TJ Neal, and he lost the ball, and the Bison got it again.
Marlette is the one who stripped it free, and there is Jabril Cox to scoop it up. Marlette has, I don't know if he's been touched yet by a team in a white jersey. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Look at 48. Make that read, keep his feet moving, get the ball out of there. Cox beats his man who's out there trying to block him and then wins the race to the football. There's some impressive linebacker stuff being done right there so far in this game by Marlette. And of course, that's because he has been kept very, very clean.
Matt Entz telling us a couple of weeks ago, the Dan Marlette that we're seeing now is the guy we recruited a few years ago. And it's exciting to see him come out and finally play at this level. But learning this system takes time, and Dan certainly has the hang of it now. Back to the ground game. Quick little stutter step in the hole for Bruce Anderson, and then quickly upfield to the 16-yard line, gain of 6.
Well, before we jump to the offense, just to follow up on your point a little bit more about how it takes time for this defense and to get it down, and Marlette and Jordheim in their 4th year. But then remember, Robbie Grimsley played as a true freshman, so that shows you how impressive of what he did early in his career, because it does take time, but he was able to figure it out right away and get on the field. Now, back to offense.
Ben Ellefson, Jeff Ilias, the two tight ends at the top of your screen. Now Ilias motions into the backfield. Play action for Stick. Fires on the run, complete. And coming up just short of the end zone is Brock Robbins, down inside the 5 to about the 3.
Robbins just tripped up, but I was looking at the downfield blocking done by number 80, Sean Engel. He did a real nice job downfield, runs his out pattern, and then gets in front. There he is, still engaged. Robbins thinking, Brock's going, I got a touchdown, and nope, you're down at the 1. Nodak Insurance Company replay confirms down at the 1.
And for Robbins, it's been a while since he scored a touchdown. He scored a bunch of them in high school, nearly 50 touchdowns his senior year at Cavalier.
And then dealing with the foot thing. And
speaking of Cavalier, We had a pastor up there. Pastor Bill
That was
Crosby.
pretty cool, wasn't it?
Ran a half marathon, set a Guinness World Record today running a half marathon with football pads on. Bruce Anderson on the carry, touchdown.
Another short field set up by a turnover. Quick strike on the defense. Short drive by the offense. And the Bison have 4 touchdowns on the board already. And we're just under 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Second touchdown of the season for Bruce Anderson, who busted a big one at Eastern Washington a couple of weeks ago. Just to finish up that thought on Bill Crosby.
Oh, yeah.
Ran with full football pads on. Actually had a Carson Wentz Bison jersey on and a helmet and everything. Ran a half mile in an hour and 40 minutes. Half marathon, excuse me. Half marathon in an hour and 40 minutes. Setting a new Guinness Book of World Records for running a marathon, a half marathon, with football pads on. It was previously 1:43. He did that for Levi Gagner, who has muscular dystrophy today. So congratulations to him and that new Guinness Book of World Record.
Which is why the UND graduate was in the Bison gear, because Levi's a big Bison fan.
Exactly. Yep. Peterson on for the extra point. Drills it again. And we still got a long way to go, and it's already 28-0 NDSU.
Boy, when you know you're coming in here to play NDSU, and it must be mistake-free in order just to have a remote chance of not getting blown out. Well, when you make two fumbles inside your own 10, it's already turned out bad for the Colonials. Just power football straight up the middle. Our guys are bigger, faster, stronger than your guys on the offensive line, and there's the touchdown. They could be busy today.
Yeah, our friends with ROTC and the National Guard are going to be extremely busy today with the push-ups. We've already seen that.
I don't know if they'll get 74 in like we did in the opener, but we'll see.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank, and for a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans.
Well, much like the Mississippi Valley State game, the Bison defensive coaches were kind of hoping they could show some things that the Valley Conference teams would have to look at. It's such a big lead. I don't know if they'll get to that.
Wegner deep to Dreyer again, who's trying to find space, and then he is walloped. And again, it's Jabril Cox at the 19.
Yeah, Aaron Mercadal kind of made him slide just a few steps to his left, right into the arms of number 42.
It makes you wonder how a kid out of Raytown, Missouri, with his size and speed, got out of that state. That was a masterful recruiting job by Chris Kleiman and company, getting him up here. Was a high school quarterback, dual threat quarterback, actually.
Well, maybe a quarterback helped open his eyes, meaning Carson Wentz, and all the pub that Wentz brought in his run up into the NFL. That opened a lot of eyes throughout the country, too, of NDSU.
Barr, quick drop and throw, and behind his intended target that time, looking for Brandon McGee.
Well, there's just the difference between a kid who's not used to throwing the ball. I mean, it's a simple slant. It's an easy read. You see the guy in the back hip. You just have to lead him. He didn't do it. I mean, you talk about lack of repetition. Remember, he's listed as a wide receiver / backup quarterback. He's not even on the 2 deep as the quarterback. 2 years ago, we talked about how he's played. Last year, he was injured, had a shoulder injury, and now just about an impossible situation for that young man to kind of try to come in here and run an offense against this tough Bison D.
Fumbled snap, and then Barr's just going to throw that thing away. In Robert Morris, their problems as a program the last few years have not been on defense. Last year, Robert Morris, because of injuries too, really hurt the offense. Finished dead last in the FCS in offense last year. It has been a struggle.
Well, and to further highlight that point, 3rd down last year, 15% for the year. This year, it's all the way up to 26 heading into this game, but the Colonials need 10 yards here in order to get their first down. Motion to empty.
Bison showing pressure. We'll see if they bring anybody. They will. Tipped, and it is caught. All sorts of green jerseys around it. Somehow Harrison Dreher came up with it. He still lost a yard.
I was looking at the Bison. Two players were there. I didn't catch their numbers. I was looking at their helmets because their heads were on a swivel. They knew that ball was tipped. They're trying to find it. If one of them could have saw it in the air, would have had another interception. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Pressure right up the gut. There it's tipped. Marlette, who's having a day again. I think it was Nate Tangway. If he just would have looked up instead of around, he might have had an interception.
So another punt as the Bison come after the punter a little bit this time. And Shepard met right as he catches the football. Tight on that coverage was a backup wide receiver, Eldon Anu, and I think a flag comes in. Anu may have gotten a little bit too close to Darius Shepard.
I don't know that I saw a fair catch signal, though. Did you?
Not that I recall. That's what John Banasak is wondering.
There is no foul on the play for kick catching interference. The player was blocked into the receiver. First down.
Okay.
So the flag is picked up and the Bison will take over on their own 47.
After his Banasek, as long as we got the camera on him, he played in the USFL as well for a couple of different teams after his run with the Steelers was over. Memphis and Michigan. Do you remember their nicknames?
I do not.
See, you're not old enough.
I'm not old enough to remember the USF.
Yep, and the Michigan Panthers.
Easton Stick play action. Time now running out of time. And he is eventually brought down by Gerald Ferguson after a loss of 5.
That's Ferguson's 4th sack already this year. Stick was trying to get the ball downfield. And we talked about some of the dynamic things we've seen on tape from that young man. He's a senior, 6'2", 200-pounder coming from the outside. Do you see how he got his hands and got Anderson just going backwards from his shoulders right off the bat? I mean, Anderson was in position to try to pick up on pass pro, but he was physically not ready to take on a guy who attacked him up high that hard and that quickly.
NDSU will spread things out. 3 receivers. Delayed handoff. Anderson has room up the middle. High hurdles. 2 defenders up to midfield.
I think that was Ferguson. He went over as well. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Look and see number 9's coming low. Yep, I'm going up top. Jumps over both 9 and 10. That's Uatafi and Ferguson.
Well, Easton Stick has only thrown 3 passes. He has been sacked a couple of times.
I like the single coverage on the high side.
Stick fires on a rope right on target. Well executed. Darius Shepard makes the reception.
Yeah, combination route. The wide guy on the near side runs upfield, clears the corner. The safety in this instance is Ryan Richards. Has to try to catch back up on the out. He can't do it. First down.
Good protection that time up front by the Bison offensive line. And we talked to Courtney Messingham, the NDSU offensive coordinator this week, LT, said, we do get nervous from a protection standpoint in this game just because we're not always sure who is coming and where they're coming from.
Yeah, 3 down linemen, but usually a 4th will come on any given play. It's trying to figure out that 4th.
Inside give, and that is the first carry of the day for Adam Cofield, the redshirt freshman out of Missouri. Gains 2 up to the 34.
Played at Blue Springs South High School in Lee Summit, Missouri. And this is by design. The Bison want to get Cofield some reps today. They want to give him an opportunity to get a few carries behind that first team offensive line.
And again, with Ty Brooks out, the Bison a little thin in the running back department here this afternoon. Stick Fires to a wide open Jeff Ilias at the 20. Ilias around one man and all the way down to the 6-yard line. The Bison will be set up first and goal. Making the tackle was Taval Brown.
Jeff Ilias was the guy that the NDSU coaches wanted to have a good day today as well, just because of some of the issues he's had and some of the lack of reps he's had. But boy, he slides past the corner, finds that soft spot, and Ilias trying hard, gets down to the 6. But it's good to see Jeff Ilias out running and the wide side of things today. He's listed as a tight end, but he could play that receiver spot. Very good ball skills.
He put a move on Andy Smagera there. And that's a broken play. Stick or done. Somebody went the wrong way, and Stick is swallowed up back at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Stick smacks the turf. He's upset with with something that broke down on that particular play. Nodak Insurance Company replay. He looks back and he sees number 10's going the other way.
Zach Zamiska was there and make sure Stick didn't get out of the pocket. 2nd and goal from the 10. Quickly flipped out to Lance Dunn. How about the footwork using his blocks, and another touchdown.
The patience, that was the pretty part. He waited for Austin Kunert to get out and get in position and then make a play off of that. Really good job of staying patient and allowing that play to develop.
James Fisher will snap. Cole Davis will hold. Number 36, Cam Peterson will attempt the point after.
Peterson on for another extra point. Boots it through, and it's 35-0 with 50 seconds to go here in quarter number 1.
That's a lot of points in a quarter. Bison offense has had short fields every time. Bison defense made it inside the 10. Here it is. Watch number 75. That's who we're talking about, Austin Kunert. So Dunn sees, oh, here comes my guy on the outside. I'll do a little stutter step, wait for Kunert to just get in the way enough, play off of that block. Remember, Austin Kunert was the player of the game out at Eastern Washington. That's how well the offensive line played out there, that the offensive guard was the player of the game, getting out in front and helping open the way for a very patient Lance Dunn.
Courtney Messingham, the offensive coordinator, also telling us this week, we did do a quick self-scout. We haven't shown everything yet, but we want to be comfortable doing everything before we get into league play. So I think trying to get a few things. We had not really seen that particular look from NDSU this year, but certainly works perfection.
And Coach Messingham talks about self-scout. It's not only his own players, but it's the coaching staff too. He's like, well, how are we calling the game? That's one of the things they look at.
Well, this one bounced down to about the 20-yard line, picked up by Jonathan Wannett, a fullback, and he's able to get to about the 30.
Chris Board and a host of others. Dom Davis in on that tackle as well. That's good to see Davis. He's back to 100% and ready to go this week.
Davis slowed by injury in the opener. Did not see a lot of action at Eastern Washington. Let's take a look at your Bobcat game recap. 7 plays, 53 yards, and 406 as Stick dumped it off to Lance Dunn for the 10-yard touchdown. Barr under pressure again. He just threw it right at the turf.
That's grounding, isn't it?
Boy, if it isn't, I don't know what is.
Or was Dreyer back in the backfield? No, Dreyer was in there. Okay.
Moving 2nd down.
Yeah. Aaron Steidel came like a freight train through the middle.
I mean, not only has Barr not played much quarterback, but the Bison are really doing some things too pre-snap to move his eyes around. They're bringing safeties up and dropping corners and shifting linebackers. all the things that pre-snap movement NDSU needs to help on, but it's confusing the quarterback as well.
Back to the ground game. Good little burst that time for Dreyer before he is tripped up at the 36, gain of 6. Levi Jorheim, I think, was the one that was able to trip him up.
Yep, that's Jorheim. That's the first time I think I've seen Marlette actually have somebody in his grill so far today. You saw Dan Marlette going backwards a little bit. So on that particular instance, the Colonials offensive line finally got to the second level, and when they did, they had good yardage on that run play.
The first quarter has mercifully come to an end here in Fargo. 35-0 is your score on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Back with the second quarter coming up on the KBOI KFYR Bison Network. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome, getting set for quarter number 2 in North Dakota State. A big first quarter, outgaining the Colonials 146-2 in total yardage.
Now that last running play was what the Colonials needed to get into plus yardage.
Now they'll shift around here, RMU, and move guys all over the place here on 3rd and 4. Barr, quick drop. Incomplete. Robinson, the intended target.
You talked about the shifting and the moving and all the stuff the Colonials just did there. But think of in the fall camp how much the Bison offense moves around. So Coach Clanderman, the defensive backs coach, says, hey, we're used to seeing just about anything, and that, which is a big benefit through fall. So when an offense tries it, we've seen it already. Not a big deal.
As we get set for this punt, let's throw it down to Ryan Gellner, who's standing by with a family of one of our potential players of the game.
Yeah, hate to ruin anything, guys, but Lance Dunn Sr., you probably know his son, Lance Dunn Jr. He plays for the Bison, just scored a touchdown. You guys come all the way from Waterloo, Iowa to these football games to be able to watch your son play. Pretty special when he scores a touchdown right in front of you.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a blessing to see that happen. Makes coming all that way much more better when he can actually score a touchdown. So
we have seen Lance grow. We have seen him, just things open up for him. The game slow down, as they say. What have you seen as a parent? Because you've watched him all the way from high school ball in Waterloo to where he's at now. What have you seen as a parent?
Well, I just see him, like you said, the game's slowing down for him. He's a lot more comfortable out there, and he's having fun. That's the main thing. So when those three things happen together, that's when you can get the good results that you want. So he's just really enjoying himself, and it's slowed way down for him. So
there's Lance there. When you see Lance play, what do you feel like sitting over here?
You're just a proud parent. You know, you hope for the best. You know, you want to hold your emotions in check, but you just hope for the best every time he touches the ball or he's out there on the field. So it's just an amazing feeling, you know, seeing him out there doing his thing.
And it sure is fun to watch you guys watch Lance play. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Grandma and Grandpa are here as well, so that's special. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, Ryan, thanks so much. And how about the Bison operating out of the Wildcat here? Had both Dunn and Anderson in the backfield. Seen a little bit of everything here. Part of your First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Thanks to Lance Dunn Sr. and Ryan for that.
Well, I mentioned it from the defensive standpoint, the last possession, I believe it was, and how the defensive coaches want to show the Valley teams a little something different. How about on the offensive side, too? Because that's a particular thing that we have not seen yet with the Wildcat and those two guys in the backfield. Just throwing it out there for the rest of the Valley to look at.
Stick fires into tight coverage, and holy smokes, that ball was tipped, and fortunately for NDSU fell to the turf. Darius Shepard, the intended target that time, but a couple of Robert Moore's Colonials in close proximity.
Fantastic read by the outside corner, crashing down in this play. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Shepard was trying to get open. It wasn't going to happen, but that was a real nice play by the corner who read that ball, came down, helped out his linebacker.
Havon Price was the guy that came down there and got his hands on that one. 3rd and long coming up here for NDSU. Stick Time now across the middle, and again, good coverage that time for Robert Morris. Stepping in to bat that one away was Adam Wallet. Nate Jensen, the intended target.
It had to be really good coverage because the Bison offense did a good job of picking up the stunts. Colin Connor, the left tackle, picks up the blitzer, gave Stick plenty of time to try to get the pass open, but Wallet stayed with his man and was able to deflect that ball away.
Now Warren Robinson back deep here for Robert Morris. He actually went to the same high school as Desmond Kane, the transfer wide receiver here at NDSU. Both went to American Heritage High School in Florida.
And he was the conference player of the week as a punt returner last week against VMI. No chance to return this one.
Did that bounce on a Robert Morris player? I don't think it did. Bison running down at about the 31.
I didn't think it did either.
Is that Jalen Allison holding his arm coming off?
Yes, it is, holding his hand.
Bobby Canota, one of the trainers, will take a look at it. Hopefully nothing serious here for Jalen Allison.
Working on a finger. Little finger in his right hand. Judging by how much it looks like it hurts, I'm guessing there's a dislocated finger inside that glove.
Dr. Bruce Pyatt, team doctor.
If that's what it is, sometimes you can pop it back in right away and it doesn't hurt that bad. Said by someone whose thumb used to go out all the time.
Barr running away and throwing it away. No receiver in the area, but out of the pocket. Good pressure applied by NDSU once again in the backfield.
It was a coverage situation because Vecchio and Allison were both kind of stacked on the left side, on the wide side, and then the Bison just did not allow either one of those guys to get open, and then on the Nodak Insurance Company replay, you'll see the pressure take over. His initial read is off left, nothing there. Now it's survival mode. Throw that thing out of bounds.
Levi Jordheim applying the pressure that time from his outside linebacker spot. Delayed handoff. Boy, heck of a job. Spinning out of that tackle initially was Cole Blake. Gained a yard.
Then Chris Board helped shut things down. Marquise Bridges, we should say as well, is in there at Allison's spot at corner. There's Chris Board. Last year and a half or so, that young man's come a long way in his ability to play solid defense.
Look at the Nodak Insurance Company replay.
You see him squared up, make his read. Once you see it, break to the outside, close it off, stayed square. Nice job. In the open field, one-on-one situation on the run.
So 3rd and long again. Flags fly.
Knocked down.
I think Nate Tangway. This thing wasn't blown dead.
Well, I thought it was a pass.
It looked like it was. Or is it going to be a touchdown for Cole Karch? They're signaling now they're going to get together.
I could be wrong, but on the initial play, I thought it was a forward pass knocked down by Tangway.
That's what I thought too.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
4th down.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I believe it is too.
But again, we didn't really hear a whistle, so the players kept playing. Let's take a look at the Nodak Insurance Company replay.
The legal shift, offense, 2 players moving without resetting.
Definitely a pass, and definitely Tangway.
It definitely hits the ground too.
And it comes right to Karch, and he's like, I don't hear a whistle, I'm going to run, which is what you're supposed to do.
The pressure getting there so quickly. Jalen Allison still shaking that hand a little bit. Looks like something got snapped back into place. He did play in that last rep. Ryan Gellner standing by, has an injury report for us, Ryan.
Yeah, you two guys might as well be doctors. It is a dislocated pinky finger for Jalen Allison, and as you said, they did snap it back in, taped it together. The kid was in quite a bit of pain, but he obviously was back out there, and he'll continue to play through the pain. That finger, though, back in.
Wobbly punt, bounces at the 37, and then takes a good Robert Morris bounce. All the way down to the 10.
I thought for a second Shep was going to try to go for that one when it's rolling on the field. That is a no-no.
Well, that worked out well for Adam Check. NDSU will be backed up, having the drive from their own 10. 12:06 to go here in the second quarter. A little cool, but overall not too bad outside for tailgating this morning. Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923, with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Looked like the ball was touched by Robert Morris actually before it bounced down to the 10. The officials got together and break and decided to give the ball to the Bison at the 28 instead of the 10. So that's pretty significant for NDSU in terms of field position as Cofield gets the carry.
Bison look like they're going to stay with 12 personnel, bring and leave the 2 tight ends. Nate Jensen rolls in on this particular play. Boy, did he have a great day out at Eastern Washington. With his 5 catches. Now he rotates down into the, well, both tight ends do. Ilias is to his outside.
Stick will drop back and then fire on that back shoulder to Ilias, who is so good making that adjustment to the football, and he's got a first down for the Bison to the 48 of RMU.
Well, here you just see his strength as well, that back shoulder. And then Drew Allen, I thought, actually had pretty decent position, but Ilias with both hands around it, and he's just going to physically manhandle this one away from the corner. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Nope, that ball is mine. Jensen was open on the play as well, so Easton Stick had a couple of different ways he could go on his initial read from his 2 tight ends on the right side.
And that was a corner, Drew Allen, that was blanketing Ilias. And that looked a little off. Somebody jumped early, maybe a couple people for NDSU. That'll take the Bison back 5.
Looked like a play that was...
Ball start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He could have picked a couple of guys on that particular play, but ends up being Mesner. Looked like Connor moved a little early too on the left side. Both guys on the left side of the center.
Bison will bring in some different receivers here. Desmond Kane, Sean Engel, and also checking in is Daniel Polanski at receiver for North Dakota State. Cofield, good burst through the hole before he is eventually taken down after a gain of 6. Coming in to make that tackle, Ryan Richards, senior safety out of Buffalo, New York.
I don't know if that's a run-pass option that Stick has to call at the line, because you have the 4 receivers out, each one with a man coverage and only a single high safety. So that means you have numbers on your advantage from NDSU standpoint in the box. Pretty good surge. You see one of the DBs, that's the safety. Richards having to come down in to get on that tackle. So that's where you have the advantage, the numbers edge between the tackles.
Stick, quick drop, fires on target again to Ilias, who almost broke away. He does have another first down, taken down by Uatafi at the sticks.
I think they're going to, oh, it is close. It might be a half a football length short.
And now they moved it back closer to the 39 from the 38, so he will be short.
Now it's about 3 football lengths short. But Ilias is someone that Coach Hedberg said kind of keep an eye on today. They wanted him to get involved, and we definitely have seen that in the passing game.
Desmond Kane, the motion man. Anderson following his blocks. Lunges ahead up to the 36, enough for a first down. We have not seen a ton of power today, LT, and you and I had talked about that earlier in the broadcast, that inside-outside zone likely going to be the schemes we'll see most today in the running game for North Dakota State.
Because of the unpredictability factor of the Colonials' defensive line and where they may line up. If you're lining up in the same place all the time on every snap, it's easier to try and determine when you want to pull a guard and run that power than it is just to run zone and let, in this case, Anderson pick his hole.
Stick will take the play clock down now under 5. Stretch play to the outside. Anderson around one man, but coming up to fill nicely to make the tackle that time was Drew Allen from his corner spot. Loss of 4.
Thought Des Kane got a pretty good block in there as well. But then here comes Allen from his corner spot. Right in front, you just saw that little slash number 13. That's the block from Kane I was talking about, but no one could get outside on Allen. The play bubbles just a little bit, and he's able to close it down and throw it for a loss. I mean, in watching tape, and this was our opinion, both of ours coming into this game, this defense is, I mean, it's pretty well schooled, and they'll hit you. They're not afraid to come up and hit you. They just generally get worn out.
Stick across the middle. That one's complete to Shepard before he is wrestled down to the ground by Adam Wallet.
6 passes complete to number 20. Here is Shepard.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Stick looking pretty much that way the whole way. Wallet has him in a bear hug. Gets one arm free of the ball, but not both arms. He was trying to get the ball out of there.
3rd and 8 here for North Dakota State.
The position the Bison have not been in much today. 3rd and long.
Stick going to take off and run with it. Down to the 23-yard line, enough for a first down. The first time we've seen Easton Stick take off and run, and the Bison will move the chains.
It was 2 receivers on each side, covered fairly well downfield. The middle opens up for Stick. He doesn't want to run a whole lot, and the Bison coaches don't want him to run a whole lot, but when you determine whether you're going after a first down in this instance or you're near the goal line, that's when you'll expose yourself as a quarterback a little bit more.
North Dakota State now with that run, over 100 rushing yards on the day, over 200 total yards here in the first half. Stick, quick play action, firing to the end zone. He's got Shepard, caught! Oh, and it was dropped at the end. He came down with it, and as he hit the turf, the ball squirted free. Darius was open, then he had to wait a little while for that ball to get there, and it looked like he was going to haul it in, and then just at the final moment, could not quite hang on to it. Nodak Insurance Company replay.
Good time for Stick. Top of the drop, gets the pass off. There's the adjustment that Shepard has to make, and then the ball does roll out. That's Richard again coming in there, trying to strip the ball away. And he's able to get it away.
So 2nd and 10. Stick fires. This one is caught. Dimitri Williams goes up and gets it, and then a flag comes in late.
Well, they're looking at Ferguson. He was the only guy there. He's got his hands in the air asking, what did I do? Unless there was a face mask or something in there that I didn't pick up, I didn't think he did anything wrong.
There was no foul on the play. The hit was legal. It'll be 3rd down.
Oh, they were worried about the hit. Yeah, there was no issue with that. That was, like I said, I was guessing maybe unless his hand got up around the headgear somewhere, but no, that was Ferguson showing his athleticism.
So 3rd and 3 coming up. As North Dakota State methodically moves it down the field here. 5.5 minutes to go. Stick. Quick drop, fires again. And another nice catch on the sidelines. This time Urzendowski hauls it in for a first down at the 11.
Urzendowski made a little pre-snap move about 3 or 4 yards to his left. That sucks the corner over that little bit extra and gives him enough room on the boundary side to run a little 6-yard out for the first down.
Let's take a look at your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question today. 1 bushel of soybeans produces how much soy oil? Well, the answer for that one coming up here in just a little bit. Anderson sidesteps around one block and then is dragged down at the 9-yard line.
Well, with the 35-point first quarter, the Bison here in the second quarter doing things that you would normally see in a second half in terms of using the play clock, working the clock. That first quarter took a long time because of all the touchdowns, and we're already down to about 4.5 here before halftime. So Stick is using the play clock, that type of thing. So they're in a little bit of, chomp some time mode as well. One-on-one with Urzendowski. I'll take that any day of the week.
And this thing is blown dead. I think a couple of offensive linemen moved a little bit early on the right side of that line for NDSU.
False start. Offense. Number 68. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's big Zach Johnson. If you haven't stood next to Zach Johnson,
it's big.
You know what it's like to be blocked out by the sun. He is a big, big, big kid. There's a look at Connor Riley, the offensive line coach. Really wanted his kids to play clean. Was happy with the way they performed at Eastern Washington, but said we still need to get a lot of these younger guys more reps.
Johnson listed 6'6", 312.
Just a sophomore. Stick got nice pass protection. Wide open receiver. Caught. Touchdown. It's R.J. Urzendowski.
Remember that play where the corner closed down inside the slot and almost got the pick on Shepard? That play and the move that he made there influenced this touchdown right here. That corner made the same read, the same move, forgot about the outside guy, easy pitch and catch.
Peterson on for the extra point. Right down the middle, and it is 42-0 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 3:48 to go as Stick hooks up with his old high school teammate from Creighton Prep. Let's take a look at that Bobcats game recap. A methodical drive, 13 plays, 72 yards in 8 minutes and 18 seconds as Stick found Urzendowski from 14 yards out for the score.
A couple of nice third down pickups on that drive too. You always like to see that on third down if you can keep possession and grind it for 13 plays.
I think North Dakota State, they held the ball the final 11 minutes and 50 seconds at Eastern Washington in the fourth quarter. Now that is a long drive.
Guess who? First guy there.
Jabril Cox has been flying all over the place today on special teams.
Again, the speed he comes down the field, he makes the initial contact, is able to stay square and then move to the man who has the ball has been impressive. He was outstanding at Eastern, and he's doing it again here today.
Well, if you wonder why that roar of the crowd came up, the score from Grand Forks was just announced. Montana State is beating North Dakota 28-7 at the Alaris Center this afternoon.
Well, nice job so far by the Bobcats, I guess, huh?
Illinois State and Missouri State, that's a Valley game, tied at 6 at the half. Give inside, Cole Blake. Boy, nowhere to go, and the interior line, that time Blake Williams just drove his man 5 yards into the backfield. Another loss on the play. Let's take a look at the answer to your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. 1 bushel of soybeans produces how much soy oil? 1.5 gallons. Little disappointed, LT, no guess today.
I didn't guess because I had no clue, which is usually I have no clue, but I guess anyway. I would have said 1.6, I guess.
Levi Jordheim showing a little pressure. Now he backs off, and this pass behind the intended target of Robert Morris, Warren Robinson. Jalen Wimbush in on that coverage, and Wimbush playing some extended reps at nickel today for NDSU, trying to work him in there a little bit more.
I thought he had a solid day at nickel out at Eastern Washington. In fact, he was so good at nickel out at Eastern Washington that Marquise Bridges was able to get 36 snaps at corner. And of course, Robbie Grimsley's going to play that position also quite a bit, but Robbie's done for the day. He played a little bit. He's, was nursing a little bit of a leg issue.
I mean, James Hendricks has been playing that strong safety spot for a while.
Boy, heavy pressure again on Barr, and he's just going to throw this thing into his own bench. I don't blame him.
The pressure was so strong, I thought at first it was a screen, but then it didn't look like the offensive line was setting up for a screen. He just blew past everyone.
There's a look at John Banaszak, and again, a very young offensive line. Nodak Insurance replay. Cole Karch.
Yeah. Well, you put the offensive, you know, you talk about an offense wanting to put a defensive player in conflict. Which way should I go? Well, the offensive left tackle was in conflict that time. Do I stay with Karch? Do I stay with the guy coming from the outside? He didn't know what to do and got blown right past.
Well, Barr, it's been a rough day. 2 of 13 for 4 yards and an interception. Trey Dempsey back deep this time to field the punt and take the fair catch at the 31-yard line. We'll take another quick timeout, step aside, and be back with the final 2:42 of the first half from here at the FargoDome. .248 to go here in the first half. How about the guy in the whale outfit? New quarterback for North Dakota State here this series, Cole Davis, the senior from Kearney, Missouri. Delayed handoff inside. Little bit of a push, not much, gain of 3. Bruce Anderson on the call that time.
We got Zach Kubas in there. There's a few new offensive linemen as well. Kubas playing right guard, taking over for a Kunert. Zemer
yeah,
is playing center right now.
Davis had that one bounce off the hands of his intended target that time. Nate Jensen incomplete, will bring up 3rd down.
We also have Luke Bacon in at left tackle as well on the offensive line.
Well, today's game is brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com/mycard. Davis will throw again. Fires high. Had an open receiver at that time in Urzendowski, but just a little bit overthrown, and the Bison will have to punt.
Just sailed on him a little bit. Davis had to adjust his footwork off to his left, but Bruce Anderson did a fantastic job of picking up the outside linebacker and allowing Davis the opportunity to try to get that ball downfield. It just sailed just a little bit high. If it's just a hair lower, it's another 1st down.
Here comes Jackson Kuntz, his 3rd punt of the day. Kuntz only had 3 punts on the season coming into today's game. And this one kind of a low wobbler. And we'll take a Bison hop and roll dead at about the 27.
Ladies and gentlemen, the North Dakota Forest Service welcomes you to the 27th.
There's a flag back at the 30, the opposite 30 from where the ball is.
Personal foul, roughing the snapper. Defense number 33. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. An automatic 1st down.
Oh boy.
Look at James Fisher in the middle. You can't touch the center, and he blows him up. And then hits him again on the ground. That's Wallet, Adam Wallet, that did that.
It's a bad decision by Adam Wallet. So NDSU will retain possession at their own 48-yard line. That was the first penalty actually on Robert Morris today, and there's a look at Fisher.
James is like, I'm not used to getting hit. I'm not supposed to get hit.
Preseason All-American long snapper. Anderson keeps the legs churning following a block of Zach Kubas and gains almost 8 yards inside the 45 of RMU.
What I want to know is whose job is it to travel the country and scout the long snappers to determine which one deserves the honor that James got? That'd be a tough job, wouldn't it?
I think it would. He's done a great job. He's been starter since his freshman year. You think about some of the other guys that have been long snappers here. Michael Murphy before him, Jeff
he
Curtis.
was really good too. Murphy, Curtis was good. That's when you know you have a good one, when you don't mention them. That means they're not making mistakes.
Lance Dunn off to the races again. Lance Dunn, how about the speed? Touchdown.
Oh, that was nice. Once he got to about the 20, he beat the angles coming at him. A couple of little spurts, and some guys in white jerseys are reaching for air, and Dunn has another explosive play. Talk about the explosive plays the Bison offense have had this year. They had 16 of them coming into today. This is Dunn's second longest touchdown run today. He's got about 100 yards just of touchdown runs, doesn't he?
Boy,
pretty close.
Taval Brown just kept grasping and just could not catch number 10. That's a 45-yard touchdown for Dunn.
So that's over 100 yards just on to the 2 touchdown runs. 61 and 45.
Extra point is up and good. And it's 49 rip with 58 seconds to go here in the first half.
We talked about Dunn's yards per carry coming into the day and how it was over 11 yards a carry. How many? He hasn't touched the ball. How many? He's averaging 3 carries, 111 yards.
He's averaging 37 yards a carry today.
And 2 touchdowns on 3 touches.
And that doesn't even count the touchdown reception he has. Well, Lance Sr. is going to be enjoying this day.
Yep, Dad and Grandpa and Grandma and the whole family's having fun.
Easton Stick's day appears to be done. He finishes 11 of 15 for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns as well.
So his efficiency continues. Stick came in at 72% completion percentage, and he's right there again.
Yeah, John Manizak just wants to get his team into the locker room and try to figure a few things out here for the second half.
The things you can't live with are the mistakes. 2 fumbles inside the 10. A penalty on the long snapper where you know you can't hit the guy. Puts the offense back out there. You give up a 45-yard touchdown. I mean, when the other team physically does something to you to beat you, that's one thing. But the mistakes, they'll drive the coach and his coaching staff nuts.
Dreyer finds a little lane this time and then runs. Who was that down there he ran into? Jalen Wimbush. He was flying around so much I couldn't even catch his number, but holy smokes, Dreyer just came to a stop.
I mean, he was able to wrap up, pick his feet up off the turf, and then plant the guy. A form tackle on a kid who's has a kickoff return. That doesn't happen very often. Here it is, Dreyer up the sideline. And perfect form tackle. Boy, did you see where his pad level was when he made the initial contact? Well, that's perfect. Nice job, Mr. Wimbush. You should be happy about that one.
Jalen Wimbush, the junior out of St. Petersburg, Florida. There's Cole Blake trying to race outside. Trey Dempsey there to take him down after a minimal gain.
Yep, Dempsey makes his read run, comes downhill real hard from his free safety position, kind of right down the hash mark and made the tackle on the hash. Fills that gap.
Stay tuned here in just about 25 seconds from now. Beth Hool, Alex Egan standing by for the Proceed halftime report. We'll get you caught up. First half highlights, stats, analysis, scores from around the league.
And Ryan will grab a comment or two from Coach Kleiman as well to get things started on the halftime show.
Delayed handoff. Blake makes a nice cut to the outside, and then Dempsey makes another tackle at the 40-yard line. Most productive play of the day, you'd have to say, for Robert Morris.
Without a doubt, no question. Last play of the half. I wouldn't think the Colonials would be too worried about trying to snap another one. Nope, they won't.
And that'll do it for here in the first half. North Dakota State rolling up 49-0. And Ryan Gellner is on the sidelines, and we'll get a comment or two here from head coach Chris Kleiman.
Chris, you look up at the scoreboard and see 49 points and think it's offensive dominated, but man, is your defense played well again.
Yeah, we challenged the defense. We had to get some takeaways, and we hadn't had any in the first couple games as far as strips and fumbles, and we were able to do that, and then more importantly, we were able to capitalize on them.
Not much for deficiencies. The offensive line, though, has given up a couple of sacks. I'm sure that concerns you.
Well, they're a good defense, and they play hard, and we got to challenge our younger guys because this would be a great test for them.
All right, we'll let you get in there. Thanks, Chris. Chris Kleiman, the head coach at North Dakota State. His team leads at 49-0.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. As we mentioned, Beth Hool, Alex Egan standing by for the Proceed Halftime Report. That's coming up next here on the KBOI KFYR Bison Television Network. The home crowd is happy. Their team leads at 49-0 here at the break. Getting set here for the second half of play between North Dakota State and Robert Morris. Ryan Gellner, our sideline reporter, had a chance to catch up with John Banaszak, the head coach for Robert Morris.
John, it didn't start well for you guys, and then it just kind of steamrolled from there.
Yeah, it sure did. Everything that we could possibly do wrong, we did wrong. You know, I thought we were ready to play. We made, obviously, too many turnovers that first quarter. I think there were 3 or 4 in a row. We gave them the ball inside the 10. They intercepted one, took it in. You can't give that football team points because you're just never going to beat them if you do that. So we want to come out in the second half and see if we can play like I believe that we can play. Our football team is much better than that.
I can tell you're frustrated. Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys, back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And yeah, Coach Banaszak, obviously, as you mentioned at the end of the second quarter, LT, it's the mental mistakes, it's some of the silly things they did wrong that I think really frustrated the head coach there.
And then it just snowballs to the effect of where the Bison had 146 yards total offense in the first quarter, 151 more in the second quarter.
And Marquise Bridges is deep for North Dakota State here on the kickoff return as Robert Morris will kick off another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. This one is angled and will bounce through the end zone and out of the end zone and will be a touchback. North Dakota State will take over on the 25-yard line.
That's Polanski, I think, down there watching that thing bounce in.
Good decision there by Polanski. A little risky as the thing continued to bounce, but worked out.
Well, if you want to take another look at a stat to show that first half dominance, how about 12-1? That's first downs.
Robert Morris 0 of 6 on third down, ran just 24 plays, averaged just 0.7 yards per play.
Cordell Volson getting a start here in the second half as well at right tackle, so Zach Johnson's day is probably done. So we'll see how this second offensive line unit does today.
Back to the ground game. And again, it's Cofield around one man and then getting pushed out of bounds after a good gain on first down up to about the 33. Tyler Lamica coming up from his linebacker spot. Likely going to see a lot of Adam Cofield here in the second half. Bison a little short on running backs today. There's a look at Easton Stick's numbers brought to you by the North Dakota Beef Commission. 11 of 15, 2 touchdowns, 132. Stick's numbers continue to be very good here in the non-conference.
Now kind of on pace to the way he was in the first two games, coming in at hitting 72% of his passes.
Cofield again, trying to work off a block from Kubis. Going to be very close to a first down, might be about a half yard short.
You talk about the second unit on the offensive line. It's important for these guys to play well, and because these reps are being recorded, broken down, assignment sharp, those types of things. So it's interesting sometimes when, like last year in a non-conference situation where the second unit didn't get an opportunity to play much, then you're being evaluated in practice. In a game, you know you're being evaluated, and as a player, you want to perform and perform well when you know the coaches are going to break it down on tape.
Cofield gets the carry again into the pile. I think he's got enough as he continues to fight across the 35-yard line to the 36. Wallet in on that tackle again. Gives up a little gimpy. Now the one offensive lineman you'll notice that is still in the game is Bryce Mesner, number 62. When we talked to Courtney Messingham about that, he said, we want to get Mesner some continued reps on the offensive line. Yes, he's our starter. Yes, he's going to play a lot. But again, he didn't start playing offensive line until the spring of 2016.
Yeah, he switched.
He was a defensive lineman before that. So this is a young man from Dakota Prairie that's still trying to learn the position.
As a senior, but again, he doesn't have a lot of time. He hasn't had his entire time on that O-line here.
Sean Engel makes his first
nice
reception as the Bison eludes 2 tacklers, and that is the redshirt freshman out of Chaska, Minnesota. Highly recruited, was hurt majority of last fall and did not get on the field. Redshirted, and here he is, number 80, getting on the field, making his first catch at NDSU.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Davis kind of looking Engel's way the whole time. He gets a little separation. I think that was the whole key. Sometimes Engel, when he's been jammed or really tight, he's having a hard time getting off the ball. Well, he got off the ball, created a little separation, and then had enough room to make a nifty little kind of cut back to the middle of the field and gain the first down.
Back to the ground game, Cofield. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it.
And Glenn Rose, I don't think, was touched on that play. He kind of went unblocked, number 96. He's a freshman, 235, playing the defensive end position for the Colonials, and he made that play.
Rose from Hyattsville, Maryland. Robert Morris pitching the shutout against Virginia Military Institute last week. First shutout for Robert Morris since 2010. Davis airing it out, looking for Engel deep, and a little bit overthrown and incomplete. Taval Brown on the coverage there for Robert Morris.
But I'll go back to the fact that Engel was able to get downfield. He beat the initial jam, was able to have his get past the corner to get a little deep. It didn't connect, but again, Engel making steps. But just to go back to, you know, what you were talking about with the Colonials here. I mean, last week against VMI, they were just physically a better team than that. You know, opened up with a win against Dayton. That was an impressive win, and then kind of got pushed around by Youngstown. So the Valley teams, I mean, that's an aggressive non-conference if you're going to play 2 Valley teams too, if you're Coach Banasek.
And again, Northeastern Conference rules 45 scholarships is the limit there in that league. This one right on target. Nice throw by Cole Davis and complete to Daniel Polanski, the Greg Legatsky product, all the way to the 25.
Yeah, that was a solid throw. Davis was able to set up, get to the top of the drop again, make his read, fire it to the inside. Polanski made a nice move to stay on the inside. This is a hash-to-hash throw. He throws it from one, right inside the other one. Nice little play inside the outside linebacker and in front of the safety. Davis hitting that window when it was open.
Ryan Richards, the safety, making the tackle, but now North Dakota State threatening again here early in the third quarter. Back to the ground game again. Cofield keeps the legs moving. Another pretty good push up front, 5 yards up to the 20.
A couple of yards after contact, you like to see that pile falling forward. Always a good sign when you can finish a run. Going forward, you and your offensive lineman.
People talk about the North Dakota State offense. Well, coming into the day, #1 offense in the nation. 112 points through the first 2 games. Now add 49 more to that today. That's just what we have right now. Davis out in the flat, caught by Brock Robbins. And he is tackled right as he makes the catch. Nice tackle there by Drew Allen, 2 yards short of a first down.
Yeah, Robbins was hoping he could maybe muscle through that first tackle from Allen. If he can, on the Nodak Insurance Company replay, he would have a first down. Stayed square. Allen hit him hard. That was one of the things that the offensive coaches told us, though, that this is a defense that will hit you. And they're a defense that technically generally is in pretty good position. Allen, one of those 3 senior starters from the defensive backfield.
Allen has started since his sophomore year here, now a senior. And RMU showing some heavy pressure up the middle. And how about Davis keeping it? Nobody picked up Cole Davis, and he's got his first rushing touchdown.
But you can't say he didn't sell the play fake, because he did. That ball was in the belly of Cofield for quite some time. Davis is hanging on it, making his read, and then diving into the end zone for another NDSU touchdown. Look at him stay with that. Boom. Reads that end who's crashing down to the running back. And then the wide side is wide open.
Peterson on for the extra point. It is up and it is good.
You're right, though, Brian. That is pretty wild that the Bison with 56 points, that's on their season average right now. Points scored.
We'll take a quick timeout. 17-yard touchdown run for Cole Davis. And the Bison are rolling up 56-0 here on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Cole Davis did come down a little funny on his shoulder as he scored that touchdown, and Dr. Bruce Bye taking a look at it. Hard to speculate on what that could be, but
I don't think
clearly
he's playing
bothering
anymore.
him.
I don't think he's playing anymore today. You saw the arm kind of hang a little bit, and he was trying to rotate the shoulder before he got down to hold for the extra point.
Tim Vecchio deep this time for Robert Morris on the kickoff, and boy, they have been flying around down on the field today on special teams.
Watch how he lands into the end zone. Kind of lands point shoulder down. Momentum forward, point of the shoulder down. AC joint, maybe. Partial little mini separation, something like that.
They continue to take a look at him on the sidelines. That was a nice big hit there by Ross Kennelly.
Now pads are coming off, so Davis is done. I don't think it's real bad, but enough to keep him out with a 56-point lead.
Delayed handoff. It's Cole Blake again. He slips out of a tackle from Aaron Mercado and taken down by James Hendricks at the 26.
That was the question mark for Hendricks coming into the year. Would his transition from quarterback to safety, how would he be able to play the run? And from what we've seen so far this year, you would have to say that Hendricks has passed that with flying colors. He's done a super job of playing downhill, getting his pads in there, keeping his pad level down. I've liked the way that he's tackled, and that was something he had not done.
Dom Davis also in at safety. Getting a look here at Josh Hayes, too, the true freshman out of Florida, getting an opportunity here. And Barr working on the freshman and hooking up with Taven Allison as a first down for RMU.
Little combination route with a deeper out and a flat and a shallow in the flat. Jabril Cox covers the tight end in the flat. Hayes trying to close down, but it was a little too late to get there to separate the ball. Nice pass route and catch.
Hayes from Lakeland, Florida, same hometown as Trey Dempsey, went to different high schools. Blake again, trying to bounce it outside. Hendricks missed a tackle, and then he is pushed out of bounds, and flags come flying on a late hit here, I think, on North Dakota State. A couple of different Bison players may have gotten there a little bit late and pushed him into the bench. There's a look at Dom Davis.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense, number 90, 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
It's Grant Morgan.
Morgan trailing the play, a couple steps out. Not hit hard, but he was taken down once he was into the white.
Well, Grant Morgan and his wife, Morgan Morgan, actually expecting a child here in the next few months. Grant actually graduates in December and is going to work for Fellowship of Christian Athletes here in North Dakota under former Bison offensive lineman Nate Safe.
Bo Pauly getting a little work in the Mike linebacker spot. Coming on a blitz.
Wow, Jabril Cox again getting in there.
And Bo Pauly, they blitzed, Bison blitzed right into the run. So number 43 is the guy I was talking about, Pauly, along with 42, Cox.
Matt Entz telling us that Pauly took a lot of reps. They expected him to get in the game and play a little bit today, and he is a former high school teammate of Dylan Radins at Becker, Minnesota.
redshirt freshman.
Barr going downfield and overthrowing his intended target, Taven Allison. Allison, a transfer from Eastern Michigan.
And he's the main deep threat, but Marquise Bridges did not bite on the little play fake or the out. Hung right with him, right in his hip pocket. Good job.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. For a limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans.
I think that's Kelly playing the nickel position now.
Barr flushed out. Here comes Cole Karch, and Kelly will, that was Barr running out of bounds, chased out there by Aaron Mercadal after a gain of about 2.
It was me that put Kelly into your head, because Darren Kelly came in, free safety, dropped down, played the nickel position on that 3rd and long.
Well, and I was thinking the other side too. Number 56, Justice Kelly, is also in the game here for North Dakota State, a defensive end, a walk-on defensive end from the Milwaukee area. I believe that was Roth's efforts back there calling for the fair catch at the 16. No, excuse me, that was not. 84, not 34 for North Dakota State, Trevor Heights. We'll take a quick timeout, be back with more from here at the Dome after this. There is a look at Henry Van Dellen. Redshirt freshman quarterback, went to Providence Academy High School in the Twin Cities. Grew up in Plymouth. Did have a rushing touchdown against Mississippi Valley State a few weeks ago. Up the middle this time for Cofield. Gains a couple.
There's the ice bag on Cole Davis's right shoulder. Scoring the touchdown.
I was joking with Cole actually a little bit earlier this week. He's a senior now, but a couple of years ago, he and Bryce Mesner, a few Bison players, visited my daughter's daycare. And there's actually a picture of him holding my daughter from a couple of years ago. So that was a great day, he told me, because I remember that.
Does Amelia remember?
I don't think she remembers. Ooh, there was a big hit. Adam Wallet flying in. Tackle for loss, 2 yards on Cofield. Ryan Geller on the sidelines has an update and a report for us, Ryan.
Yeah, guys, it seems funny. We've talked about this Bison defense for so many years, but the Bison offense, you mentioned it, putting up so many points, where they are now a point away from tying the modern record for NDSU offensive points in a season, or total points in a season, through 3 games. That record sits at 169. The Bison are at 168. The next point they score will put them in the record. They already have the Division I record. We're talking the all-time record at North Dakota State, guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Van Dellen, boy, all sorts of time in the pocket. Now trying to get away, and he's going to be ripped down by Darian Smith for the sack. Second sack of the season for Smith, and the Bison will punt it away here.
Van Dellen had an opportunity to look downfield. Here's an ISO on him to try to see what he sees. Nothing open, nothing open, nothing open. And now has a fistful of jersey.
Robert Morris dropping 8 into coverage that time, only rushed 3. Jackson Kuntz. Nice high, deep punt this time for Jackson Kuntz. Fair catch called for and made by Warren Robinson at the 42, and we'll step aside and be back with more from here in the Fargo Dome. 4:10 to go, and North Dakota State in control of 56-0 on the A-Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. Today's game brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. Gate City Bank has been serving customers and investing in a better way of life since 1923 with 36 locations in 19 communities across North Dakota and western Minnesota. Robert Morris back on offense. Cole Blake taken down by Jabril Cox after a gain of 5. And now some extracurriculars here as Mercadal is tied up with one of the offensive linemen there from Robert Morris.
One of the numbers
Justin Boyette was the guy.
Outside of that play, just wanted to say that Quinn Allo, number 97, is in the game as we look at Mercadal. Quinn, a redshirt freshman from Lemoore. Big kid, good athlete. How'd you like to play against that in 9-man football?
No thanks. Barr will roll and fire downfield, and this one is intercepted by James Hendricks.
He's got some room.
Hendricks. Now a flag comes in. Hendricks is running circles out there. Now Hendricks to midfield and finally out of bounds inside Robert Morris territory, and a man down there for Robert Morris back at the 40-yard line.
That's where the block in the back took place, I believe.
Second interception for Hendricks, who also had a pick against Mississippi Valley State in the opener.
Should be a post-possession foul marked off from the spot of the block in the back or the clip or whatever it was. Colonials trying to move the pocket, get Barr out a little bit, but that pass just had no steam. He was about 5-8 yards short of his intended target.
During the return, legal block in the back on the original defense, number 42, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So that's Jabril Cox getting called for the block in the back.
Just couldn't get anything downfield. Look at how short that is. Then Hendricks going to the far side. Dom Davis trying to throw a block. We're looking for Jabril Cox right there at the top of your screen. He just went off to the left of your screen where he shoved the guy a little bit too hard. That's not where the Colonial player got up slow. Just a shove in the back.
Trey Dempsey congratulating his teammate there, among others.
Now Carson Schuning was in at center last possession, and I think that's him back out there again.
That is number 59, Schoenig. Bacon, Zemer, Cordell Volson, and Kubas remain in the game on the offensive line. Cofield turn back after a gain of 4. Uatafi all in on that tackle again.
I like how Cofield on that play designed kind of just it was a zone blocking scheme. See what he could find. He looks off to his left. He sees that it's sealed to the outside. So instead of trying to bounce and extend the play, he squared up his shoulders, got as much as he could, just shy of the 25. Here's what I'm talking about. Whoop, it's closed off here. Now I might be able to bounce. Nope. I'll cut up, get what I can get. Take what's there, don't get fancy.
Brock Robbins leading the way this time. Wallet makes the tackle on Cofield, a half-yard short of a first down. Cofield now over 50 yards on the ground today. And North Dakota State over 200 rushing yards with that carry.
Well, against Eastern was 375 yards on the ground, and 498, if you remember, in the season opener right here at the FARGODOME against Mississippi Valley State. So the Bison have been able to just chew up yardage on the ground this year.
Van Dalen gives off to Cofield and got what he needed for a first down up to the 41. Amir Fenwick in on that tackle for Robert Morris.
On the carry, that's another Bison. First and 10 for the herd at the 41-yard
Van Tellen will continue to operate out of the shotgun. Inside give, and Cofield almost broke free that time. Good tackle there by Gerald Ferguson, or Cofield may still be running.
A little read option, but a lot more of the run part of it, the handoff part of it, I should say, than the quarterback keep. Made the right move. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Put it in Cofield's belly. Look at the defensive end. Determine what you're going to do as the quarterback. He hands off. Ferguson there just a little bit late. That's the guy they're reading. And they made the right call.
See Van Dellen out of the shotgun. That's what he did a lot of in high school.
He did all
where
of
he's
it.
comfortable. Yep.
He took very few snaps under center in high school. So it's a transition for him in that regard.
Van Dellen keeps it this time. Fooled everybody. Van Dellen has a first down inside RMU territory to the 35-yard line. Eventually taken down on the play by Ryan Richards.
Now, how come you're chuckling a little bit underneath your breath there?
Well, I don't think Van Dellen would tell you himself. Not known for being a huge runner, but he's already got a running touchdown this year and pretty big gain on this play. And that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. And you know what? It's the fourth quarter. So hold up your 4 because it's the 4 for 4 from PetroServe USA. Get a pizza, 2 cookies, and a drink for just $4 at all 22 PetroServe USA locations. We'll be back with that fourth quarter from Fargo coming up. Back with the final 15 minutes from here in Fargo. Sydney and Giovanna, a couple producers, KVLY, taking in the festivities here today and are sticking it out here in the fourth quarter. Majority of our crowd have vacated and headed to the parking lot to partake in other festivities. Van Dellen to Cofield.
Well, you said sticking it out. I thought you were going to bring in a story about Easton somewhere. No?
I'm not that clever, LT. Already the 16th carry for Adam Cofield here today. Now 64 yards on the ground.
Well, the game played out how the coaches hoped it would to allow him an opportunity to do what he has done today. They wanted Cofield to get a bunch of carries, and that's exactly what he has.
Not as much room that time. Uatafi got in there to make the play. No gain. NDSU has already had the ball for 32 minutes here in the football game.
There's Kubas trying to make that block, couldn't get his man moved, and Uatafi is able to make the tackle.
Dellen out of the shotgun here on 3rd and 7. Quick drop, fires, and almost intercepted. Oh, through the hands of Ryan Richards, and he had 6 in his sights.
He did. He had a touchdown if he just could have held on. And number 58, Izon Pulley, is the guy who was right in the grill of Van Dellen when he threw that thing. Helped maybe helped go maybe high enough just to keep that from being picked.
Was all Northeastern Conference last year, the only returning starter that was picked as an all-NEC selection. Van Dellen will throw as the Bison go for it here on 4th down, and on target this time to Polanski. Nice comeback route. Van Dellen perfectly on time, and the Bison have a first down up to the 16.
Got a little curl and just about a 2-step comeback, as you mentioned. You try to create a little separation at the point when you plant that foot, and then you come back to the ball, work it to the outside, make sure you make the catch. Allen with another tackle, but not before the Bison pick up the first. That's the 18th first down today for NDSU.
Cofield, inside give again.
Stop on the play by 44, David Steele.
Don't forget about the Bison football show with Chris Kleiman tomorrow morning. Wrap this thing up and start talking about the conference as Missouri State comes to town next week.
Good game.
10:30. Yep, on 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Good game between Missouri State and Illinois State. At half, it was 6-all, and now all of a sudden Illinois State has jumped up 34-6. That game down at Springfield now, fourth quarter.
Stop on the play by 44.
And NDSU doing exactly what they want to do, which is take time off the clock and try to get this thing down to 0 as quickly as possible.
There you can see at the top of your screen, need to get to the 6-yard line to pick up the next first down.
Cofield bounces out of one tackle and then dragged down and taken down by Smigera.
I think Wallet was the one that had the first good hit, though, and kind of spins Cofield just a little bit. And Smigera, number 11, comes up. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Number 33, there's the guy I was talking about who got him to spin, kind of took him off his run path. Fourth down now.
Bison will leave the offense on the field here instead of kicking a field goal. Polanski, Height, Desmond Kane, and then the tight end in there is Matt Anderson. And Ellen will throw. Across the middle, Polanski the intended target. Good coverage on the play by Taval Brown. Incomplete. Turnover on downs.
Change of possession, first down by Colonials. Shields is a proud sponsor of Bison Athletics for all your games.
So Robert Morris will take over on their own 11-yard line.
Just trying to check and see who's in there in some of the defensive line positions. I see Jack Darnell, the sophomore from Champlin Park High School. Oh, we got a timeout.
We'll take a quick timeout and be back with more from here at the Dome. 10:53 to go.
And welcome back. Today's game is brought to you by Gate City Bank. Show your Bison pride with an NDSU Gate City Bank ATM and check card. Visit gatecitybank.com, my card.
Cole Blake, good room up the middle that time, picks up 7 to the 18. Bo Pauly making the tackle for NDSU.
Nodak Insurance Company replay, just a simple handoff. Able to move the nose or the middle just a little bit. Pauly's in on that tackle. I think I saw Jabril Cox in the mix, a hair there.
Trey Ford in at corner now for NDSU.
He's on the bottom of your screen who just backed off.
Justice Kelly making the tackle on Blake, but Blake enough for a first down up to the 25.
Well, I think both the teams here today, Brian, have to be excited to get to the conference part of the schedule. I mean, for NDSU, it's obvious. They know the grind's coming. You know, you do well in the Valley, and you're going to do well in the playoffs. And for Robert Morris, you know, the NEC is not the strongest FCS conference in the world, and I think they're ready to face some conference teams.
Well, more importantly for Robert Morris, with some of the injuries they're dealing with, they get next week off before having to go to East Tennessee State in October. Comes at a good time, I think, for the Colonials after 4 tough games here to start off 2017. Blake trying to bounce it out. Mercado giving chase. And eventually Blake taken down on the play after a gain of 3.
Yeah, Mercadel's had quite a few reps in this game, and
Eric Bachmeyer also getting in on that tackle.
Safety position. If you're wondering about Robert Morris and how the university got its name, Robert Morris is one of the authors of the Declaration of Independence and helped I guess before the United States became the United States, helped fund the Revolutionary War. That's where the school's named after.
He made millions of dollars in the import-export business. Came over to the U.S. when he was just 14 years old on a boat.
Back when $1 million was a lot of money. I guess if you're buddies with George Washington and that crew, why not have a university named after you? There's Nick DeLuca on the left side.
Saw Matt Plank there on the right side. He's not playing today either. DeLuca was out here kind of running around doing a few things earlier in the day, warming up before the game.
He has been running, but he's no contact or any of that stuff.
Ooh, that was a big hit by Mercadal on Barr. Came flying up to make that tackle after no gain.
The one thing I've liked when we've seen Aaron do it, he likes to play fast, and there was an opportunity where you play fast. You make your read and then go for it, and he does. He plays downfield, pad level, knock the quarterback short, forcing 4th and 4.
Mercadal from the Bay Area went to St. Mary's High School out in Oakland. Recruited here by former Bison defensive ends coach Jamar Kane. Of course, Kane has moved on now to coach on the defensive side for Fresno State. Another punt, maybe the best of the day so far here for Czech. And that ball was dropped. Flag comes in.
Fair catch interference.
And they're going to blow this thing dead. It was recovered by Robert Morris as Frank Antuano came up with it, but it looks like the Bison may keep it here. We'll see what the flag is.
The Colonials will not get to keep the ball. The Bison will have it back at the spot of first touching, then the penalty. It was fair catch interference.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
All right, 6:56 to go. We'll step aside and be back in a moment from here in the Fargo Dome. Bison got the football back. $56-0. Your score, 6:58 to go here in the fourth quarter. Majority of the fans have cleared out, but not all of them. Kind of got the baby cam going here a little bit. North Dakota State will start this drive at their own 42-yard line. Cofield, good push that time up front. Follows his blocks, gains almost 8 yards up to midfield.
Also the fullback, Zach Kuntz from Grand Forks, did a real nice job as a lead blocker, engaged and turned his man.
North Dakota State would like nothing more than just to run this ball and get out of here. Get ready for Missouri State. And again, Robert Morris will have the week off. Try to heal up and get ready for a game at East Tennessee State. Cofield stopped in his tracks that time and swallowed up in the backfield. Nice job defensively by Izon Pulley, the redshirt freshman out of Germantown, Maryland. Robert Morris still playing some of their starters, many of them out there defensively. Gerald Ferguson still out there, Wallet still out there, Smagira over there.
Yeah, Richards playing safety, Allen at corner still out there.
And that's Victor Kashevsky. We saw him close out the game at running back for North Dakota State against Mississippi Valley State once Cofield was not available and Damaris Purefoy went down with a knee injury. And Kashevsky is not typically a running back, but he did take reps at running back this week just because they need an extra guy.
Looks like the punting unit will come out. Yeah, Kashevsky listed as a wide receiver, so. But anytime you can touch the ball, it's a fun time.
Absolutely. Warren Robinson back deep. And Kuntz angles this one. Robinson calls for the fair catch. at his own 14-yard line. We'll step aside one more time and be back with the final 4:37 from here at the FARGODOME. Back with the final 4:39, and again, you're watching this game on KVOI, KFYR, Bison Television Network, and brought to you in part by Gate City Bank. For limited time only, receive $700 off your mortgage closing costs. For more details, visit gatecitybank.com/betterhomeloans. Delayed handoff, not much room that time for Cole Blake. Mercadell in on another stop. Today's game also brought to you by the fine stations of the Bison Network, including flagship stations KVOI Fargo, KFYR Bismarck, along with KMOT Minot, KQCD Dickinson, KUMV Williston, and KOOL in Alexandria, Minnesota. RMU going a little quick on this drive so far. Quickly up to the line. See Felix Dixon in that corner for NDSU on this possession. Barr's gonna keep it.
He wanted to throw it.
And he should have thrown it. He's taken down by Kennelly for a loss. Ross Kennelly, a redshirt freshman from Superior, Wisconsin.
Well, his man was covered. That's who he wanted to go to was covered. So the play fake did not take the wide side corner off of the route or off of the play, so he was able to hang with it.
This copyrighted broadcast is property of North Dakota State University. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or distribution without the consent of NDSU is strictly prohibited. Delayed handoff again to Blake. Another big hit in there. Boy, Mercadell has been flying around everywhere here the last couple possessions.
Well, he's done that pretty much all year when he's been in. We talked about it when he's going downhill to make that last tackle. Did you know that this is the 8th straight victory in the Trees Bowl? 9th straight.
Did you also know that North Dakota State has won 25 straight games after a bye?
Yes.
I didn't stump you with that one, huh?
Thought you had me, huh?
And Height will call for the fair catch at the 43 here with 2:16 left.
Well, as long as we're talking about wins, you put another one behind, Chris Kleiman's, one-loss record. So he's now 43-5.
That's a head coach.
That's pretty good. So that's 14-1, 13-2, 12-2, and now 3-0.
That's not bad.
No.
LT, that's a pretty good winning percentage for a coach. It's interesting talking to Chris. He's had a chance to visit some different FBS coaches. Dabo Sweeney. Certainly the Georgia. They went down to the Georgia staff, learned some stuff from them.
Also with Clemson as well, so they had an opportunity in the offseason to try to figure some things out. Trying to figure out how they defense teams that do similar things in the Valley Conference. Chris's 7th year here at NDSU. Of course, he was the defense coordinator before taking over as the head coach.
NDSU will be content to just run out the clock here if they can.
Yeah.
Boy, Coalfield has been a workhorse. 23 carries already today.
He's not going to get a pass thrown his way, but we should say that Cole Jacob is in playing some wide receiver as well.
Good finish on that run as Ferguson makes the tackle on Coalfield. About a yard short of a first down. Coalfield's going to come up a little bit short of 100 yards, but he's had a pretty good day on the ground. 24 carries, 86 yards. And James Hendricks is checked in at quarterback. How about that? The safety who played quarterback here when he originally signed, then was moved to safety, but again.
Well, during one of our timeouts earlier this quarter, we might see Hendricks back there.
Cofield lunging forward. Good push again, first down. And NDSU will be able to take a knee here and walk out of here with a 56-0 victory.
That's it. Don't even need to snap it. We're done. No, there. Take that back. There's about a second and a half difference in play clock and game clock.
Nice to have a guy like Hendricks that at least knows the terminology, so you can put him in there in an emergency situation like this if you need him. Kashevsky gets the carry. He's taken down from behind by Uatafi, and that will do it. As we tick down, both teams will head to the field, shake hands. Robert Morris will drop to 2-2. North Dakota State, a perfect 3-0, heading into conference play next weekend.
Coach Spanacek's team just made those critical mistakes, a pick six and a couple of fumbles inside your own 10, and it was game over from the get-go. You don't give NDSU an opportunity to like that, and the Bison not to take advantage of it. And the offense was rolling, and the defense was forcing turnovers.
Ryan Gellner will catch a word here with Chris Kleiman, get his thoughts. Well, the Bison have looked so impressive defensively, certainly as well. Third in total defense, third in rush defense, giving up just 24% on third down. And are now 3-0 on the season. Ryan Gellner standing by with head coach Chris Kleiman.
Chris, you wanted to get some young guys and be able to evaluate them. Jabril Cox has 8 tackles. Aaron Mercadell has 5 tackles. You saw quite a lot on D.
Yeah, we really did. I thought we played really well on defense for 4 quarters, and that was a good defense we played against, and we were able to see a lot of young guys on offense. So overall, real dominating performance. Excited for the guys.
I know you got that 24-hour rule, but the conference season right around the corner. When do you get ready for that?
After we enjoy it today, we've had a good month of September, 3-0, and the guys are playing really well.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach. Congrats. Guys, upstairs.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. We'll be back here in a moment to wrap things up from here at the Fargo Dome, 56-0. Your final score as North Dakota State continues to roll on here in the non-conference. $56-0, your final score from here at the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State improving to 3-0 on the season. Robert Morris dropping to 2-2. Our Nodec Insurance Company player of the game, well deserved. Only touched the ball 3 times when he ran it, but he did a lot with it. 111 yards on just 3 carries and a couple of touchdowns for Lance Dunn.
Yeah, the first one, the 61-yarder, which is the second longest play from scrimmage this year behind his own 73-yarder. This is his second touch, which was his second touchdown. He catches a touchdown pass. So he touched the ball 4 times today and scored 4 times and added 111 yards. This one's a 45-yard touchdown run. They tied for the 4th longest play from scrimmage this year. So a couple of big plays from number 10 once again today.
The Bison running game racks up 260 yards on the ground today, 375 against Eastern Washington, 498 against Mississippi Valley State. The O-line continuing to get it done. We'll take another quick break and be back to wrap things up from here in Fargo after this. The band is heading out. Everybody else is pretty much left. And we will be doing so shortly as well. 56-0, your final score from here at the Fargo Dome as we take a look at your final stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers.
Well, for the 3rd non-conference game in a row, it is total domination by North Dakota State. The score, obviously, you pitch a shutout. The defense averages 1.4 yards per play, while the offense averages 6.2 yards per play. Total domination. You had the ball almost twice as much as Robert Morris, and those stats look pretty good as the Bison pick up their 3rd win of the year and head into the conference schedule next week.
Yeah, Robert Morris just 0 of 9 on 3rd down, just 4 first downs overall. They ran just 40 plays, so NDSU got the work they needed to get in. And the coaches are pretty much now done with their evaluations as we move forward. Again, those stats brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. Next week, we'll be right back here at the Fargo Dome. 1 o'clock kickoff next week. Pregame show is at high noon as we get you ready for the homecoming matchup with Missouri State. The Bears taking another loss today at home against Illinois State, and that will close out our September schedule before we move on back to the road to Terre Haute, Indiana, for a matchup with the Sycamores of Indiana State. Thanks so much for joining us here on the KVOI KFYR Bison Television Network. For Wes Desjardins, Jim Wareham, our entire crew on site, Ryan Gellner, Lee Timmerman, I'm Brian Shawn, saying so long from the Fargo Dome. We'll see you next Saturday for homecoming. Have a great Saturday, everybody.